Craig Revel Horwood is, of course, best known as a judge on all 17 series of Strictly Come Dancing, but he's also worked as a dancer, choreographer, actor, singer and author. And now Craig is getting ready for his debut solo tour, which gets underway at the Playhouse Theatre in Weston-super-Mare on Friday the 22nd of May. And Craig Revel Horwood is here now. How are you, Craig?
I am absolutely fantastic and absolutely cannot wait, because at Weston-super-Mare is where I'm opening, darling. So
I know, it's the debut.
Yeah, it's a world premiere. That's what it is.
I can't believe...
And what a better place to do it.
I know, exactly. I can't believe this is your first solo tour. I mean, you've been in the business for so long. I mean that in a nice way. I'm a bit stunned that you haven't done a solo tour before.
I haven't had the time. That has been the problem. I've normally at that time, the spring, I'm always putting on a musical, and I'm normally directing and choreographing it. And then, of course, I perform. The only time I ever really perform is in Panto, and that's always booked out with the run-up with Strictly. So there's never really been any time to do it. And then I thought, I really want to do this. So we decided to just go ahead and put it in the diary, darling. And there it is. And we're on our merry way with the All Balls and Glitter tour, and they're just going to love it.
So it's a bit like a kind of an evening with Craig Revel Horwood. Is that fair? You've got a bit of song, bit of dance, bit of anecdote, that kind of thing? Yeah,
that kind of thing. And a big surprise, too.
Oh.
That I'm not telling you. It's a big tease, darling. A big tease.
Can you give us a little clue?
Well, yes, I can, but that would be giving it away. But she might appear, is what I'm saying. She might make an appearance.
Oh, wow. OK, that is a tease.
Yeah.
And I imagine a fair chunk of kind of showbiz gossip in there as well. And,
of course. Yeah. No, I mean, I've got a lot to talk about, darling. I could talk for 3 hours, but I wouldn't want to bore people with just me and my voice. So it's nice to be able to get up and, as I say, sing a couple of tunes that people will know and love, and that people will be surprised about, some stories that no one's ever heard before. And, of course, backstage goss I have a wealth of, darling, after doing 17 series. It's it's all there. And of course I did the New Zealand one for 3 years, and I'm presently doing Dancing with the Stars in Australia. So this is the second year of that out there, which I begin after the Strictly Come Dancing live tour that I'm doing now, of course.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm a bit surprised you managed to squeeze in time for it all, because as you mentioned, you've obviously on Strictly, but Strictly in Australia as well, and you mentioned you've done New Zealand as well, and you've got all the panto you do every year. I mean, where you find the time, Craig, I'm not quite sure.
I have a good PA and a good manager who manage my diary. Without that, it'd be hopeless. And I'm also doing Strictly Ballroom, the musical, and that's going around the country after my All Balls and Glitter tour. So I'll have to do the casting for that as soon as I get back from Oz, and then start rehearsing my one-man show, and then off we go. But I've got a fantastic director for the one-man show as well. So it's not just all me, it's not just all about me in that way. It's an entertainment show, that's theatre-based. So it'll be more interesting than me just sitting on a chair, I think, darling, and talking to the audience. It's not that sort of show. It's full of all sorts of stuff that I love doing. So it's going to be great. And it's going to be fun, I think, for the audience to see the nicer, funnier side of me, rather than just me holding paddles from 1 to 4.
Yes, because that's an interesting point, because how much of the Craig Revel Horwood we see on Strictly is you hamming it up a little bit as a kind of pantomime villain, and how much is there real Craig underneath?
There's a lot of real Craig in the fact that that's how I direct and how I choreograph, because I'm wearing a judge's hat and I'm there to form a critique in order to help that person get to their future, to get to the next week being a better dancer. So I take it quite seriously, and I don't like to put up with people saying, "Oh, that's only that'll do," And I think it's really important to wave the dance flag on that show. Yes, I'm there to be entertaining as well, but I think you have to give sound advice, and sometimes that sounds like harsh criticism. But then if you went to any dance class, my dance teachers were absolutely vile to me. Not that I'm sending that down the line, but I'm just saying, you're told what's wrong and what's right. I always had problems with my arms because they were 2 inches longer than the normal person, so they were harder to control. So I constantly had teachers, screaming at me and saying, this is wrong, that's wrong, you need to do this. And if they hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have become, the dancer I was back then. So it's really important to give advice, and I wouldn't change that. But I mean, as for taking the judge's hat off, then in the BBC bar, the celebrities will tell you I'm a completely different person in that way, because I'm not judging. You know, it's like anyone at work. When you're on radio and you're presenting, you wear your presenter's hat, don't you? You can't talk liberally like you're having a glass of wine, you know.
I mean, I could try, but I've been to see how long I lasted. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you wear a hat. We all have to wear hats at our jobs, and that's the hat I wear. So this way, people will get to see me for who I truly am, and they'll have 10 minutes to ask me questions, you know, and I'm encouraging people to ask really difficult questions.
Craig Revel Horwood is here. He's coming to the Playhouse Theatre in Weston-super-Mare in May. Don't go anywhere. Right back with Craig in just a moment. And we're back with Craig Revel Horwood, whose new solo show, The All Balls and Glitter Tour, is coming to the Playhouse Theatre in Weston-super-Mare on Friday the 22nd of May. Craig, if I can take you back, 17 years or so, how did you first get approached to do Strictly?
I was directing and choreographing a musical, a new musical in the West End, and people had put my name forward to the BBC as a judge. And I think there were 3 recommendations. I received a phone call. I listened to the idea and the concept, and I thought it was a dreadful idea. And I said, absolutely not. I do not want to be part of that sort of TV. Thank you very much. And, you know, and I was like, self-respecting myself, you know, in my career, because I had a career going, and I thought this will just destroy it in one foul swoop. And I said no, and then they really liked the idea that I was adamant and got me to the studio for a screen test, and I did that in my lunch hour, and I looked at a monitor and then had to talk about it, and they said, oh Craig, what do you think? And then I told them, well, whoever was walking down the stairs is absolutely hopeless, and even worse when they got onto the dance floor. And I said, for that professional boy, I said, what professional boy has, you know, bowed legs that you could drive a semi-trailer through? They said, can you sum that dance up in 3 words? And I said, yes. Dull, dull, dull. Of course, they were the 3 words out my mouth on the very first programme. And of course, the people I was talking about in the video that I was watching was Natasha Kaplinsky and Brendan Cole, who went on to win the first series. So, and I did say, I said, I give this show 3 weeks and it'll be off. They'll
really? So
but
when did you realise actually you were onto a winner? Wrong. Yeah.
By week 4, everything seemed to come together. The audiences started loving it, and then by their millions, we were getting people were tuning in, and then they decided, because it was such a success, the first series, they decided to do another one in the same year. The first series was in May 2004, and then we did a Christmas one, and then we also did our Christmas special, which was Strictly Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, oh,
and
yes,
then ITV stole it the following year. Yeah, so ITV stole it the following year, so we couldn't do another
They
Ice
didn't
special.
do it as well, I don't think. I mean, I know they've revived
darling,
it, but
they
it's
didn't
not
have me
great,
as a
is
judge.
it?
That's why. No, it's not. Well, it's not as good as Strictly. Let's just say that.
We can say that. Yes, indeed. Okay, best ever celebrity dancer that you've seen on Strictly?
For someone that came from the dance gutter, Mark Ramprakash.
Oh, he was
big
very
surprise.
good, yeah.
Yeah, big surprise, because he actually couldn't dance at all. But then on a Saturday night, he would come out. I mean, during the rehearsals, he was absolutely hopeless, going wrong all the time. And I thought, he'll never get that together. Karen Hardy was having a nightmare with him.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, on the Saturday night, boom, salsa, all happening, and then he went on to win it. He was absolutely incredible. I mean, he sticks out of my mind as one of the best ones that came really from nothing, you know. And Kelvin has, like, really shocked me, of course, last year. And he's brilliant on the tour and winning just about every single date, you know, that, well, he's won every single one so far. But there's been lots. I mean, there's so many people that have come through. I mean, I loved Ashley from 2 years ago as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic, you know. There's amazing people. So I really, if I was going to put my, you know, someone that represents the show in a big way, it's probably Anne Widdecombe. who left, impressions in indelible ink on our minds that
An
will never
iconic
be
contestant.
erased.
Yeah,
well, it'll never be erased from one's memory, and you can only go back and watch it again. That's one of those ones that I can still put on and still laugh.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm not laughing at, I'm laughing with, because she was actually a very good sport on the show.
She knew what she was doing.
Of course she did. And, I say that. It's about canvassing, to win the show. Because Karim, obviously, last year was a better dancer than Kelvin. But Kelvin seemed to win the hearts and minds of the nation. It's as much about getting the audience votes as anything. And, of course, politicians know more than anyone, how to act around people to canvass votes. And Anne was very, very good at that. I mean, she got to week 11, so she was no fool when it came to that. And then, of course, I spent 2 years in Panto with her after that, performing with her. And then it became Laurel and Hardy. We did double acts, up and down the country.
You did.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was really good fun, too, because she was my nemesis. So it was like a perfect perfect combination, of the straight man and the comedy. So
and
really
in fact,
good fun.
On the Panto thing, is there any chance that you can please at some point do Panto in Bristol or Bath or Weston-super-Mare? Because we would love it.
I have asked to be placed in Bristol because I could actually get there from my home. It would only be an hour and 15 drive. So I would love that. And I have put in a request to do that. But this year I'm doing Southampton. So I'm hoping the following year I do Bristol.
Well, fingers crossed. You can see Craig Revel Horwood with his new solo show, The All Balls and Glitter Tour, at the Playhouse Theatre in Weston-super-Mare on Friday the 22nd of May. It's Craig Revel Horwood. Thank you so much, Craig.
Thank you.